and I actually did the. You remember the EAS?
Yep.
Zeke transformation contest. Well, I won the state of Oklahoma, that transformation thing.
Oh, wow.
I've got where's my, oh, here it is. I got a medal right here. You can't see it, but there's my medal. I keep it hanging there. I'm pretty proud of that. But I gained like 20 pounds of muscle using their protein. You're supposed to.
All right, welcome to the Knight's Path podcast. Very stoked to have this man on the show today. Russ, the Rowdy Dawg. Woo! Godfrey. Woo! How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, man?
Good. And so this is podcast number 11. And 11's like, I got a buddy that's into numerology, and 11's like the way he's explained it to me, it's the gateway, man. It's the doorway. So I think it's great that we got you at the podcast. It's the number 11. It's the doorway, because when I look at Russ, he's 10 years, just right at 10 years, a decade older than me. He's stout, he's jacked, he's tough, he's been through a lot of shit. We're going to talk about that, but there's hope for me as a man at 52 to go, hey, man, 10 years from now, a decade from now, I can be even better. I can be in better shape. I can just be jacked as hell. And we'll talk about some of Russ's inventions. No, he's I got a t-shirt from Russ, and this is like my podcast t-shirt, but I got a t-shirt from Russ, and I was like, Russ, look at your shirt, man. I got, like, you can see behind him, he's got Russ the Rowdy Dawg. And then he got a t-shirt from me, and then he's flexing. I'm like, fuck. His arms, I'm like, dang, Russ, maybe my arm could be that big in 10 years, but you're jacked, dude. I'm happy to have you on. I'm a fan of yours. We're close friends. Russ had me on his show. I'll put all this stuff down at the bottom. By the way, if you're new to the Knights podcast or my YouTube channel, be sure to like, subscribe, share, hit the bell icon so you get notified of other content on my page. But Russ, tell us what you got going on, brother. Tell us about your page and what you're doing now, and then we'll kind of go back and catch everybody up.
All right. Well, my deal is the Rowdy Dawg. It's that kind of grew out of my childhood. Really, I was pretty rowdy, and I was called the Rowdy Dawg. You Rowdy Dawg, just whenever I was a kid growing up. So, but my whole deal, my page is all about senior health and wellness, trying to motivate seniors to lose weight, to live a healthier lifestyle. And it's seniors choosing to live healthy and well is kind of the motto for the page. Mm-hmm. And, and I've looked at kind of in the niche, and I saw all this stuff for seniors, but it's a doctor in a real antiseptic room, showing how to do, hip exercises, and a guy sitting in a chair, just real static, very boring, and I thought, well, man, I would fall asleep looking at something like that. Right. So I tried to bring some levity to it. I try to bring some just some interest to it, to hold people's interest and give them some knowledge and give them some things to work with that they can do in their house, or they can do out in their own neighborhood or their park or whatever. And seems to be, it's getting some play. I think I hit 1,000 views on the channel. It's Russ Godfrey, the Rowdy Dawg, and I think you're gonna put a link up in there. But I just try to make it fun, try to do different things and relate some of the stories as I was growing up, and people kind of relate to that are my age. So that's kind of how it grew out. It's just, I love helping people, and that's kind of my goal, is to help seniors,
Yeah. And
a happier life, healthier life.
Absolutely. And one of your fans, one of your followers is your dad, and he's like 82, right? Like
he's 82, 83. Yeah. Oh man, I better get it right.
I know. I watched it, and you got it wrong, and he kind of chewed your ass. And you're like,
oh man, he got
after get it right. I'm 82 and a half. Gotta look a day over 82. Right? Yeah,
he'll be 83 July 10th.
Okay, so, he's right there.
83. Yeah,
Cool.
he's in good shape. I mean, he's got his health. My mom is a little rougher, but she's, she's had hip surgeries, and and it's kind of to help them. And I did a couple of podcasts about how they can work on being able to get up off the ground, because he had a little scare the other day where he couldn't get down out from under his truck. He dropped his keys and they rolled up under his truck, and he got down to get them, but then he couldn't get back up.
Right.
So it was kind of an exercise routine of how they can strengthen their core and their legs and hamstrings and things, their glutes, so they can stay strong, so they can get up, when they need to. So
I saw that one too. And what had happened is your dad he'd gotten down, he was working on his truck, right? And he got down on all fours, and he had a hell of a time getting back up.
He was getting out of his truck, and he dropped something. I don't know if it was keys. He dropped something. It went down underneath his truck. So he had to get down to get under his truck, and then he couldn't get back up. It was, 100 degrees outside. Yep. Here he is, can't get back up. So nobody around, kind of scary. So anyway, he's been doing that routine, and he's got a whole ton of his old buddies that are in their, 80s that he's getting them to watch the videos and things too. So, because they're all having this very similar issues.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good that they see that, and it's helping them. They're all starting to do those
absolutely.
Things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm all about.
No, it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you had me on, and we kind of talked about self-defense and awareness, situational awareness and stuff like that. And then I'm going to come up there, and we're going to do part 2. And, I'll probably have your old man, like chopping me in the neck and doing some stuff that I think is going to be effective against me if I'm trying to be a big bully to a senior person. And I'm looking forward to that as well.
Oh, he's looking forward to that too. He says, "Oh yeah, man, I'll be all up for that." He's kind of a ham like me, he likes.
That's good.
Likes to be on camera.
So that's what you're doing now, Russ. Let's take it back to where did you grow up? I know you're in Oklahoma now. Where did you grow up? And then kind of what were you into in high school, sports wise and stuff? And then, Russ is like an American success story. He owned his own business. I'm not going to tell too much about it, but he started his own business, and he was selling this unique product. And before he sold it, he had, there was this piece of equipment in every state, right, in the union. So that was a pretty big.
Yeah, we had, every state in the union, we had several machines. And when we finally got a machine in Hawaii, Rhode Island, then that was, one in every state. And then we had, I've got them in 12 countries in every branch.
That's awesome. We'll get into that. So where'd you grow up? What were you into?
I grew up in Kermit, Texas.
Yep.
Way out, if you know where that area is, down at the bottom of the Panhandle before it shoots over to El Paso, right in the niche there, right in the corner. Grew up in Kermit, very little bitty town. And then when I was about, probably 4 or 5, we moved to Midland. We moved around quite a bit out in these little towns around that area. My dad was a pipe welder, and he followed the pipeline. And then he settled in Midland and started his own. He had a heat and air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, heat and air conditioning business. And my first memories as a kid were going with him to work before I started school, shagging tools for him. He'd say, "Hey, Russ, go get my yellow handle this, or my black case, or this or that." And I'd be up and down ladders and, traveling around. I'd say I learned the work, the heat and air conditioning, refrigeration business, just from the ground up, really. No whining.
No whining. But my lights, my wife's a photographer. She's going to help me with my lights. I don't have this crap figured out, and it keeps kind of bugging the crap out of me, but I'm trying to get some extra. But anyway, keep going, brother.
But anyway, I grew up in Midland, went to school there, I started into sports, all city pitcher, won city championships. Little league, I didn't really get to play. I played football and baseball in junior high. And then we moved. I was 12 years old, and my dad got a job with you remember the old Sir One Stockade franchise?
Yeah.
He got his buddy worked there and got him a job operating their I guess their service work for all the restaurants and building the restaurants and putting in all the commercial.
They had the big Hereford cow out front, right?
Yeah, great
Yeah.
big cow, yeah. And his truck actually had a horn on it. It would moo.
Yeah, that's
It's
cool.
on stockade, you'd honk, it'd moo. But anyway, I used to love that old truck. But anyway, that's kind of, and then, you know, from Kermit to Midland to the big city of Oklahoma City, man, that was a stretch. And it was tough. It was hard for me to transition. I really, really struggled because I was an athlete. I was, you know, well liked in school, did well in school. And then you know, I went from being top of the heap to being this, you know, in a big, huge school. Went after junior high, went from, you know, top dog in Midland to, man, just a nobody in this school. And I just kind of sunk into myself, you know, and kind of reverted, you know,
Yeah.
and became very depressed. My brother, I have an older brother and an older sister. And my brother, he got in with, he was already getting in with a bad crowd in Midland and started doing drugs. And when we moved here to Oklahoma City, you know, he kept trying to get me to use drugs. So I wouldn't tell on him. So I wouldn't, you know, tell my parents what he was doing. So I finally gave in. And then, hey, I gained a whole new friendship. I gained a whole new group of friends. My brother and his buddies all brought me into the fold. And, you know, so I started using drugs at like 12 years old, 12, 13 years old. And so that kind of started me down the wrong path there, got in a lot of trouble. You know, even though I started working in a restaurant, because Sirloin Stockade, they had this fancy restaurant called Fred Gaines. And I went to work there at 12 years old. Unheard of now, you know, kids don't go to work
Right.
at 12 years old anymore. But back then, you know, my dad was all about work. He was all about work, making money. School was totally unimportant. And so school was totally unimportant to me too. And I'm actually the only kid in my family to graduate high school.
Wow.
Neither my mom or dad, neither my brother or sister graduated high school, much less college, you know. I did a couple years in college and it just wasn't for me. So I started, you know, using drugs, but my dad, I always worked with my dad, and I learned the heat and air conditioning business. I was pretty good at it, you know, so I started my own company at a very early age. Whenever I was 15, I was changing out heat and air conditioning units and compressors and things on my own.
Wow.
At a pretty young age, and writing my own invoices and you know, stuff. So I really learned that trade pretty good. And then I kind of built it up from there. I started to work when I went to high school. You know, high school for me was just a party. It was just a party, man. I barely made it out. And, you know, I was pretty proud that I had graduated, but, you know, because being the only one to graduate in my family, that was quite an accomplishment. So my parents were real proud. But, you know, for me, it was to work, you know, just go to work. And I started my heat and air career. Picked up a big account with Arby's Roast Beefs. You know who Arby's is.
Yeah.
I did all their heat and air, did all their commercial refrigeration, you know, put it in for them, did a lot of remodels for them. So I gained a lot of business and a lot of, you know, did a lot of work for them and other restaurant chains as well. That was kind of my forte, is the restaurant industry. So anyway, just kind of, and as I did that, and getting back also to, I got into racquetball. Don't ask me how. I started in racquetball. We went to a new health club, and they had racquetball. And man, I fell in love with it. I actually won several tournaments and won the state A championships in 1985 while I'm doing drugs. So. Wow. I mean, I actually won. I was so hungover during the final. Every time we would finish a volley, I'd go up against the wall and just go, "Oh, when are we going to be done with this?" You know, I was so, and I actually won that. I could not believe I won that, being so hungover. So, you know, I kind of just was just eking by. You know, I wasn't really living. I was just getting high and playing racquetball and working out, and I was not living up to my potential. I'll say that. And finally, I came home. I was 27 years old, and I was really going downhill really fast. And I got divorced a couple of years earlier, and married my high school sweetheart, and started traveling, doing work for Sirloin Stockade, putting in energy management systems and Sirloin Stockades all over the country. So I wasn't home very much, and drinking a lot, using a lot of drugs, traveling at night to get to the next town to do the work. And then we'd sleep all day and go to work at night while everybody was gone, while the restaurants were closed. And so, man, just a slow burn, down the hill. And when I got divorced from my high school sweetheart, she was messing around with her boss while I was out of town. Who would have thought that? I was never around, so
right. She didn't get any attention, so yeah,
she had to get her attention somewhere, right? So anyway, after that happened, I really started hitting the drugs and got just went nuts. And at 27, I woke up in a ditch on the side of the road out in the middle of the country. I woke up, didn't know where I was or how I got there, had blood all over me, but it wasn't my blood.
Oh.
I didn't know what happened. I was freaking out. I mean, I lost it. And, back then, this is 87, so there wasn't no cell phones.
Right.
So finally this guy came along, saw me out there, picked me up. I had on a white shirt too, and it was just covered with blood. I had it speckles on my face all over me. So I'd obviously been in a fight or something. I didn't have any clue. My hands were all beat up, And so this guy gave me a ride to back to my house. And from there, I went to my parents' house and just lost it and slept. And they did an intervention on me. And I went into drug treatment March 17th, 1987. And that ended my drug career at that time. When it was a 60-day treatment, I come out and never looked back. I never used again. And
wow.
Stayed clean since. So
that's badass.
It was a 12-step, AA, Alcohol Anonymous type deal, treatment, 12-step treatment program. And, I stayed in meetings and did the whole 12-step and helped others and went through that whole process. So, yeah. And I can attribute being saved in treatment, Lord, relieve me of the bondage of self was the prayer I said over and over again to try and gain some insight into what I needed, to get clean. And that was it. I never looked back. And I think that I was healed from it. I never really had the urge again to use. I knew that I had to stay away from my playmates, playgrounds, and play things. That's the three things you do when you get away from drugs, because you think all these people are your friends. Well, they're not your friends.
Right.
They just want to use drugs with you. They don't have to look at their problem. If you know what I mean?
Right.
If you're not using, you're trying to get clean. They don't want nothing to do with you. They want to leave you behind because they don't want to have to look at their problem. So,
right.
Anyway, I hid out in my parents' house for probably a week, trying to figure out scared to death, trying to figure out what I was going to do, And so it was a scary time. But
well, hell, you've been working since you were 12. You're 27. You've been doing drugs, for as a youth. So that's a 15-year.
Right.
Like for most kids, it'd be college, 18, they'd be in their mid-30s, but you were there in your late 20s because you started the work gig so early, right? I mean, so, and then, that's crazy. And you're right, like child labor laws and shit, you can't do that now.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but the Oklahoma, whenever that guy killed all those people in the Sirloin Stockade, put them in the walk-in cooler and shot all.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And several of them were underage kids. They were 14, 15-year-old kids. Well, that really ended all the child labor stuff. Then I can't remember the guy's name, but my uncle actually was the assistant manager at that store on Southwest 74th here in town. He was supposed to work that night, but he had something going on with his kids, and the manager took his place and ended up getting killed.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
That is close to home.
Yeah, really was. But have you ever heard of the New York Hill restaurant?
The New York
Hill?
No, I haven't.
It's out off I-20. Anyway, he owns that restaurant. They run that restaurant. It's a pretty famous restaurant out.
So he stayed in the restaurant business.
Yeah, it's out near Ranger. You know where Ranger is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I come see you, maybe we can go eat there.
Yeah, Lake Palapinto.
There you go.
Lake Palapinto. Yeah.
So after you got clean, tell us about you getting into the business that you ended up owning for a while, and that unique piece of equipment, and getting in every state and then selling your business.
Yeah, well, we had, when you're doing heat and air work, you're doing refrigeration work, you learn controls, wiring controls, things like that. I had a buddy that was buying this equipment. What it is, it's a glorified dishwasher. It's an enclosed steam cleaner. And this equipment's been around since the 50s. And this guy had figured out a way to buy these used ones, and he'd bring them into he was an electrician. He ran an electrical business, contracting business. And he would bring these things in and try to rewire them because they were pretty complicated, and he couldn't figure it out a lot of times. And he'd call me up and say, "Hey, Russ, come here. Can you help me with this? I don't know how to rewire this. It's got all these weird controls and stuff." And I'd go over and help him pull all the completely redundant crap, complicated stuff out of it, and simplify it, make it easy, and say, "Okay, here you go." And it was something he could understand, because he was just a basic wire puller. He didn't understand controls. Like most electricians are wire pullers. They're not, control guys. When you do heat and air, it's all about control work.
Right.
So anyway, I enjoyed that. I did several of those for him, and I helped him sell a few. And as I was doing this, I thought, man, why are they so complicated? Why can't they do it this way or do it that way? And I thought, well, man, I could build one better than this. What is the deal? Why do they got to be so complicated and hard to clean? And so I got exposure to that niche. And I had a friend of mine that ran a sheet metal shop. And I took one of these over to him. I said, "What do you think about building something like this?" And he said, "Well, yeah, I could build something like that for you." And so we kind of put our heads together and built the first couple of machines. And I'd put them on a trailer, take them out and show them around and sell them, and guys loved them. They were simple, they were rugged, they're easy to work on, easy to clean.
And basically what it is it's like a heavy duty, high powered dishwasher. You could put all kinds of stuff in there, right?
Yeah. It's we've got like what I used to tell people when I was selling them on the phone or something. I say, we're washing poker chips at Caesar's Palace to F-18 jet aircraft engines on aircraft carriers. To Marine One helicopter squadron has our machines.
Oh,
the Timco.
Wow.
It was the name of the company is Timco Distributors, and it's a very well known name. I mean, we're known for quality, simplicity. Our slogan at the time was "Simplicity at Work."
Nice.
And you got hot soap and water, and we developed a soap that works with the machine. It doesn't foam, because when you clean grease off of parts and you have hot water, you create foam. So you got to figure out a way to keep that foam from accumulating and then running out of the machine. So we developed a good soap that we could make residual income with, for one, because they're always going to need that soap,
Yeah.
the machine. And just like the dishwasher in your house, you're always going to have to buy soap for it. So
did you have to get a chemist? I mean,
oh, yeah.
That's a hell of a mind, right? To sit here and go, all right, let me make this simpler. Let me make the control simpler. Let me go to a buddy of mine that, can fabricate, and then you invent this machine And then you
Yeah.
create another problem, because then with the grease and the soap, and then it's like, you know, you're problem solving, but you're moving forward and you're chugging away. You know, I mean, it's you're like the little engine that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. That's badass.
Yeah, it was more of a roller coaster than an uphill climb. It was like, boom, whoa,
it was a flip, and I'm feeling sick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I tell you, we went through lots of trial and
So you
error.
had to get a chemist. That's crazy. That's
well,
cool.
we had, you know, there were Moon Chemical is a guy that I knew.
Okay.
And got with him and told him our issues. Hey, here's what we need. We need something that don't foam. We need some metal brightener for aluminum. We need, you know, something that won't flash rust to give them a little shelf life. And we developed Temco AP blend, all-purpose blend. And it was a, you know, and then we started out with one size of machine. It was a 30-inch turntable, 41-inch working height for the transmission industry. Because when you rebuild a transmission, it takes 4 hours to clean it, just to clean everything before you can start rebuilding it in a solvent sink. You know what the solvent sink, you know, you got the little hand brush and the little deal, and the pump pumps the solvent up, and it's really bad for you, and it's bad for the environment too. So what we did is move them from a 4-hour job to a 15-minute job. They can throw thing in the machine, turn it on. It rotates through a spray curtain from the bottom, from the side, from down top, and it rotates through this 200-degree water with the soap in it and cleans all those parts in about 15 minutes. And another thing, when they pull them out, they flash dry because of the heat. So they're ready to rebuild and start working on the thing straight, or paint or whatever, right? So it's a very labor-saving product. And so, you know, we kind of a living, breathing thing. You know, you're always trying to improve. We put an oil skimmer on it to keep the oils out of the water, to help separate the oil out of the water so they could stay working longer. Developed a wastewater disposal system. They can flip a switch on the control panel and it'll boil away the water, so they don't have any waste stream coming out of the machine.
Yeah, so I'm a safety guy now, you know, so I mean, like stormwater, you know, the EPA and all that crap. So you had to problem solve for that, right? Okay.
Yeah, we took the waste stream, took them out of the solvent waste stream pattern into a 99% waste-free situation, you know. So they love it. They didn't have all the hassle, paperwork, and EPA actually walked in and did an audit in California, and they saw our machine.
California is horrible.
Yeah, and they loved it, you know, because they're in California. They're making them close up their drains in their shop floor, because if a car comes in with water on it, it runs on their shop floor. That's hazardous waste.
Yeah.
So you have to collect it. So these guys,
like even shampoo and stuff, man. It's crazy,
man. It is insane. So what these guys would do, they'd mop up this water and collect it, and then put it in the machine and boil it away, along with the water they were getting rid of anyway whenever they were boiling out their water when they needed to clean their machine. So it became, and we actually started building evaporator, just wastewater evaporators. You know, it's basically the machine without.
And when you get done with that, is it just dirt and crap that's in there?
Yeah. All that's left. Right. When you skim the oils out, and all the soap has emulsifiers in it that thins out any heavy grease, like from axles and things, and it brings it to the surface. So the oil skimmer skims the oils out. So you've got rid of that. You put that in with your normal waste oil storage or waste oil furnace. These guys use it to burn and make heat. The rest of it is just dirt. It's clean dirt, real fine silty dirt in the bottom of the tank, and we made that real easy to clean. Most of the machines on the market were so difficult to clean, and we made ours where it was simple, very easy to clean. So we really kind of built the better mousetrap, we'll say. And we won awards. I won awards 3 years in a row for our design and cabinets and our service.
With what group?
The Transmission Digest, the transmission industry.
Okay.
And what we did is we were kind of trying to compete in a very highly contested market, the automotive market.
Yeah.
And I did.
Dude, if you're saving 4 hours on cleaning a transmission in in labor, and you're turning that into 15 minutes. Extrapolate that over every friggin' gas station and transmission. You know,
Right.
holy shit, that's huge.
Yeah. Engine rebuilders.
Yeah.
We were beating our brains out trying to make a living in that market because the price point, you know, to be able to compete, we had to have a certain level, and we were struggling. We were about 10 years in, we're really struggling. And so I went to a business mastery course with Tony Robbins.
Okay.
And I did the coaching thing with him, a guy named Bill Siflard, I'll never forget. And he turned our company around. He said, you need to first, he did a whole, you know, deep dive into what we were doing, looked at the quality control, looked at our stuff and said, you need to American made, quality, best support in the industry, increase your price 40%.
Yeah.
You may have seen the inner circle. I talked about this in inner circle.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you talking about? I don't want to go bankrupt 40%. Nobody's going to buy that. And he said, Russ, trust me, you're going to gain a better clientele.
Yep.
You're going to get into bigger industry people. You're going to be able to sell multiples to bigger industry people. And man, I tell you what, that guy is so smart. I mean, we did that. And see, we're selling direct. We're not selling through distributors.
Yeah.
We're selling factory direct to the end users. And this is about the time the internet's coming on real strong. I put up a website and I knew internet was the way to go to market and bring things out because video was coming out. You know, when we first started, I did video and I did a presentation of the equipment with a VHS tape.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a VHS tape and I had a guy edit it for me and put all the fancy stuff in it, you know, and we'd send it out with a bag of popcorn. You know, hey, watch our movie, have some popcorn, you know. And that really set us apart because nobody was doing that. And it just kind of really set the bar for a lot of these other guys to do. And then as the internet came on, then you got the internet speeds got better. Then you're able to do DVDs and then CD-ROM DVDs, and then put it on the internet.
Floppies, you know, yeah.
And then when you got the internet and you're able to start putting video up, you know, and so we just kind of rolled every new thing that came out, we developed and put that all out there. So, and it really helped us grow the brand. The name really became synonymous with quality and friendly customer support, the best customer support.
And you had government contracts. You can't do that shit if you're not squared away and you don't have a good product and it's not something that benefits, you know, our country, right?
Yes, exactly right. I was going to show you this. We didn't have a GSA. You see this?
Yeah.
See, that's a uniformed Marine came to my office and gave me this. This is the Marine One, Helicopter Squadron One Appreciation, Russ Godfrey, for service above and beyond, you know, for going through the whole process with them and getting them a couple machines to work on the president's helicopters. Man, I'm so proud of that. There's my first, can you see this picture right here?
Yeah.
That's my first manufacturing facility.
There's a rusted roof on the top of that barn.
What's that? That's 100. Go ahead.
No, I said, looks like some rusted roof on the top of that tin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's 100-year-old pole barn that used to almost blow over every time the wind blew.
Well, you're in Tornado Alley. Holy crap.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. It was pretty scary. We'd get the wind blowing good, a storm blowing in. I swear it was going to come down on us. Had dirt floor, you know, we were all hand weld, you know, hand break and shear, everything back then when we first started. But anyway,
and I learned some stuff about you, man. That's fantastic, bro. That's a lot to be proud of. So you've been on this entrepreneurial journey for quite some time, and you knew, hey, I'm not the smartest, you know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, right? So let me go to Tony Robbins. Let me get some coaches. Let me get some help. You sold your company. You're in every state, and then you're like, what the hell am I going to do? I'm bored, and you still want to serve. You started your thing, and then you found Entre. I found Entre, and you know, here you are, still trying to give back. You know, which I think is a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, Yeah. You know, with Timco, that's what I did. I took care of people whenever they would call. They'd need parts. They'd need troubleshooting on a machine. I love doing that, and our customers love the machines. I mean, they were so beneficial to their business. When they quit working, man, it was like, oh, what do we do? You know, they went into a panic, and it's great to be able to help people. You know, and that kind of fed that need for me to help others within our customer service realm for Timco. And so anyway, that's, yeah. And when I sold it, buddy, it was what a cultural shock I've been doing. I was absorbed into that for hell since really we started in 86, 85, 86.
Wow.
And built that from nothing, you know, 100 years, you know, really from nothing. And we ended up with 3 manufacturing facilities, and I did all the control work out of my shop here. I had this thing full of controls and full of equipment in here. And that was the heart of the system, is the controls. And we built all that here, and we made them very modular, so we could just send them on a pallet. And they just bolt up to the machine, color coded wiring. You know, a monkey could put them together.
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, I sold it, and I was really struggling. What am I gonna do now? You know, so, and then I found Entre, and I haven't looked back. I'm loving. I always wanted to do something in internet marketing.
Yeah.
I knew the internet was very powerful because I had seen my business, seen Timco grow because of it.
Yeah.
And so I knew that it was very powerful, and I wanted to learn that business. And then I found Jeff, and you know, I've been on this path since February, late February, I think. That's whenever I started and got in the inner circle, met you guys.
Yeah.
And, been a great journey so far.
Yeah, I mean, I've met so many great people and friends I'm going to have for the rest of my life. You know, for sure, you're one of them. You're my brother, and man, I just love just the fellowship that we have. You know, it's amazing.
Right.
Great people, great company.
And it's good to have people on the same path, you know, that we're all supporting each other in our success, you know, and trying to achieve that next step. You know, it's really, really a great group of people.
And it's really a selflessness, right? Because we all want to serve. That's the thing. It's we want to be independent and be able to do whatever we want financially, not be dependent on a job. But with that desire is a desire to serve, and that's the underlying common denominator for all of us is we want to serve and help people, and that's not what you get when you see this. Hey, make money online, you know, the beach laptop lifestyle and all that crap you see with all these fake gurus, right? I mean, you have to work your ass off.
Passive income. That's a myth. I mean, there's no such thing. You work your butt off to get that income, you know, to get that monthly passive income, you know. Nothing passive about it.
So one thing about your entrepreneurial nature too that I want everyone to know about is something. By the way, I'll probably put a video up here somewhere. I'm gonna try to write down where we're at on this, but we are probably just almost 59 minutes in, but I want to mark it.
Really?
Yeah, because
time flies when you're having fun, right?
Absolutely, but Russ, it's like
great.
riding a freaking unicycle. He's in his early 60s. He's riding a unicycle. It's like, holy shit, he's amazing. He's jacked. But what I want to get at is Russ has been working since he was 12, and he's been hustling, and he got into the wrong crowd, but he's always had this mind. And dude, you invented workout equipment and shit. So this whole time, you must have read comic books, and you've seen the Atlas and don't keep your face.
I had the Atlas.
Because
the Atlas thing, I got that program. I started with Atlas, you know. And supersets and up and down the rack, and you know, all that stuff. I actually ordered that from a comic book. I remember when I was a kid.
So see, you've been working out and being this stud hoss, you know, but you have this crazy mind. So like my mom, God rest her soul, she's not with us anymore, but she always had this mind where she would say something to me, and then like 3 or 4 years later or down the road, holy shit, they invented what I talked about. Remember what I said? And you're like the same, but like show the audience that shock absorber thing you made, and tell them
There it is, the multi-million-dollar product right there. I made this when I was 13. And what it is, it's an isometric exercise. You can pull it and get that pull, and you push, and you get a chest compression and shoulder compression. So it's pull and push. You do that 10 times, 3 sets, 10 times, that will wear you out. And you can do it, you can do bicep.
Yeah.
And tricep.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Pulling too, see, because you're pulling, down, you work your tricep, work your bicep. So yeah, it's a pretty versatile little piece, no doubt. I actually came up with another one too, and I actually gave it away to a school. I had a lot of workout equipment. I had a lot of universal equipment and a rack of dumbbells and a lat pull down machine and all that in here before I got Enco going good and put all that equipment in here. I gave that to a Christian school along with this bar I made. And what it is, it's a universal bar with the big ends, to hold universal plates. And I had two big old 10-inch electric motor bearings. They're this big. I mean, they're huge. You fit your hand in them. And I cut that bar down, and the pieces I cut out, I put those bearings, welded those bearings in, and I took the pieces I cut out and made handles to fit inside the bearing. So you had the rotating handles. You could do, you could go up and do, I called it peripheral dynamics. And it was a whole, remember the Nautilus equipment that came out? Yeah, it was about that time that all the Nautilus stuff was coming out. And I thought, hey, when you're exercising, your tendons and you're working, you're like bench press. Whenever you're doing that, you're straining your shoulders because they're not moving in their natural position. But if you can move your hands to rotate your hands to a more natural state, it's going to take that stress off the joints, and you'll still get the same, exercise. You'll still get the same workout. Same with your
because I mean, I've done bench press, and then I would do reverse bench, where you're trying to work your lower chest and stuff. But you do he basically had the perfect push-up, which is all that stuff he's talking about way before. But then he's putting it on a bar, and then you can, I mean, hell, they do shoulders now with dumbbells where you come here and do this, where you're rotating and trying to hit all the heads of your shoulder. But I mean, you were figuring crap out way back in the day. That's awesome. It's amazing.
I'm actually going to call that school and see if they got that still. I bet they got it propped in a corner, collecting dust. Nobody.
Yeah, go get it back.
It's really too heavy, because the bar already weighs 45 pounds. Right. Those bearings probably weigh 25 pounds each. Yeah. So, you got a 100-pound bar there. Just alone is going to be hard to curl. And you put
Well, then they came with the easy curl bar, right? That's
I've got one of those over here. You can see it on the shelf back there.
Yeah,
right there.
But you were basically creating an easy curl bar before there was an easy curl bar, and you didn't even need to put any damn weight on it because it was heavy by itself.
And I made it so made it strong enough so you could do bench with it or whatever,
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
I was a pretty young guy too. I was probably in 16 to 18 years old when I came up with that. But
great mind. And you're still so Russ, you kind of got heavy, man. You kind of became a lard, right? What happened?
I got huge. I got up to almost 280. I mean, I was always lean. I always worked out. Stayed around 175.
How tall are you, Russ?
I'm 5'11".
Yep, figured that.
And but yeah, I'd always stayed pretty lean. And I actually did you remember the EAS?
Yep.
Physique transformation contest. Well, I won the state of Oklahoma, that transformation thing.
Oh wow!
I've got where's my? Oh, here it is. I got a medal right here. You can't see it, but there's my medal. I keep it hanging there. I'm pretty proud of that. But I gained like 20 pounds of muscle using their protein. You know, you're supposed to use their supplements and take before and after shots and all this. I'd lost like 50 pounds, gained a bunch of muscle, and really, man, I look pretty good. And then just
how old were you? How old were you when that happened?
I was in my late 30s.
Okay.
Probably 38 to 40.
Okay.
Right in there.
All right.
And then after that, you know, got back in shape and started hitting the weights again. And then, man, life just got in the way. Had kids, started, you know, working a lot, trying to make a living, and you know, you just get out of the habit. And then before I knew it, when I sold my business, I'd hit almost 280, 278, heaviest I've ever been in my life. Man, I was struggling. I was having heart issues. You know, I had a heart procedure. I had AFib. I had, you know, I couldn't breathe. I had sleep apnea. I had to have a jaw surgery to pull my jaw out. I had 6 plates, 26 screws in my face. They had to pull my whole front of my face out because I had a deformity as a kid that I didn't know about until I did a sleep study, and they found that my jaw and all this was compressing on my airway.
Oh, wow.
And even whenever I was in shape, it didn't have to do with my weight, but the weight didn't help. But it caused me to have AFib, and I had to have a 12-hour heart procedure, and they went in through my artery and vein here, and then up through the groin, and they go in there, and you're laying on this table, and they've got all these monitors, and they're watching you, and they zap these areas. They basically kill you. They put, you know, they zap your heart, stop your heart, and then restart it, and they try to recreate the AFib.
Oh, wow.
And they can see where the short circuits are in your heart. Yeah. And they go in there and zap them with cauterize them or something to make it stop. And it actually worked. And it, you know, they cured it. They were able to get rid of the AFib, which was, and it was a miracle. It really was, because I'd gone to the emergency room 4 times thinking I was dying. I mean, I knew I was gone. I mean, my heart would not stop. It's the scariest thing you'll ever go through, because your heart, 200, 300 beats, it's not really beating, it's just fluttering. And you can't breathe, and you get weak. It's awful. But anyway, you know, the whole process, I had to go through the jaw surgery, get my airway opened up. I had to go through the heart procedure. So anyway, that happened in my early 50s, late 40s when that happened. But
and now, how much do you weigh? Because you've been on this journey, and you know, I watch your videos, and you know, you got on Weight Watchers, and you just started eating, making good decisions, and you walk a lot. You do a lot. Just get out and walk, and then you ride your bike a lot because you got some hip and knee problems from when you were heavy. But you still get out there and you friggin' move, people, move.
Yeah. You gotta move. Yeah. And that's the best thing you can do, you know, moving, getting your blood circulating. That helps your joints. It strengthens your joints, or your muscles around the joints, so they don't hurt. Removes inflammation. There's so many things that just come, just a basic walk, and losing 10 pounds, you'll feel so much better, you know. And for me, 278 in November, and then I started going down, and I realized I couldn't break through that barrier, and I started on Weight Watchers in January, and man, that really started me down. I'm probably getting close to 220 now, and I started at 278. So, and I've had a little setback with, you know, going on this trip we just went on. That set me back because I wasn't working out, and I was sick a couple of weeks before that, and I don't know what that was, but it was just took me down. I don't know, maybe it was COVID. Hell, I don't know what it was. But it was bad, and just didn't want to do anything but sleep, you know. And that I didn't gain any weight. Go ahead.
You basically lost 10 pounds a month in the first 6 months, you know, since January. That's awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, just stay on the program. The Weight Watchers is for me, it fits my lifestyle. Yeah. It's on my phone here. Man, you just pull it up. There's the app right there. It's just such a simple thing if you can see it.
Well, you told me you can scan barcodes, right? And one of your videos you were talking about hey, you were going to just go into some like 7-Eleven, you were going to get a deli sandwich, you scanned a barcode, and you're like, holy crap, I'm not going to do that. That'd be half my points for the day. You got some nuts and some fruit, and you know, you can eat all that you want.
Yeah, and it was so eye-opening because, you know, you think, oh, grilled chicken wrap, oh, that'll be healthy. Well, you scan that code on it and look, it's got 16, 17 points in it. You only have 31 for the day. That's crazy. You're never going to make your, you know,
right.
And there's so many things you can eat. It just retrains the way you think about food. You know,
that's awesome. What a success!
Eat all the fruit and veggies you want and stuff, and just it works for me. You know, it's a real simple thing for me to use, and helps me to retrain my thinking around food for sure.
So the other thing I'm going to do is let me kind of look at the time. This is right at about an hour, but I'm going to throw up here too is your isometric video because I was watching. It's funny, man. Oh, it's not up? Is it up?
No, it's up. Yeah, it's there. That's the most watched. I have 2 of them up there, but the one where he shows me flexing in the thumbnail, that's been the most watched of any of them. I think it's up to 161 views.
It needs to be more, man, because I tell you this, I was traveling, I was at a hotel, and I think it was the day I got there. I usually try to hit the gym when I go there, but I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm eating, I'm turning on my computer, I'm watching some stuff, I'm watching you. And then I just started doing the isometrics with you while I'm sitting there, you know, and holy crap, man. I was, you had like, when you started filming, you'd already done like 2 sets.
Oh yeah, I'd already walked about 2 miles and had done those sets as I'm walking because I couldn't film it because I didn't have any, you can't do it with your your phone in your hand.
Yeah, you found a mailbox and then you're showing everybody and I was doing them and I like at the end of it, I was like, holy crap. And I think I put some comments on that video. I was like, I did this in my hotel room, wore my ass out. It was a hell of a workout. It was really good. And it's funny, like excuses, right? People can come up with any excuse in the world. It's like, oh, well, I don't have anyone to work out with. The gym's so far away, blah, blah, blah. That isometric thing takes the excuses out. Plus, here's the thing, folks, people, gravity works everywhere on planet Earth so far. So just gravity and putting pressure against yourself and doing some isometrics. Russ has got a great video.
Whenever I was traveling around selling equipment, big trailer load of equipment on my truck, I needed to work out. I'd use the roof of the truck to and the steering wheel to do curls, isometric curls, the resistance in the steering wheel, and all kinds of things you can do. Push on the steering wheel from the many ways.
I've done curls on a steering wheel while I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, for the next 2 miles, I'm going to try to just do this
to the next mile marker.
I imagine people have driven by me and they're going, that guy's shitting his pants.
Yeah, this kid drove by me on a bicycle. He was probably looking at me going, what is this guy doing?
Oh, red face. That guy's shitting his pants.
Yeah.
And his truck's all jerky. Like, what the hell is this guy doing, man?
Yeah, holding on to the steering wheel with your knee while you're, doing your push-ups on
I love it, man. We're brothers there, man. We're brothers there. Isometrics while driving, that's great. Yeah. So another thing is, there's so much to cover with you. You're such an amazing man, but Russ had a daughter. He lost his daughter, and here he is. And I'm 52, and he and I just kind of chatted about this before we got on, and I'd known this, but he adopted his granddaughter, him and his wife, and is probably around the time you're my age, you're 52, and you're 61 now. 61. And God bless you, man. And that's Russ is a fucking man, pardon my French, because he's been through hell and back. He got clean, he got sober, he did the American entrepreneurial dream. He used his mind and his creativity, and he created his own company. He's got stuff from Marine One and all this stuff.
Marine Helicopter Squadron 1.
You sought help. Yeah, it's it's amazing. And then like you sell your company, you're a success, and you're like, I still want to do more. And then along that way, you're like, hey, my daughter's gone. It's got to be heartbreaking. And you're like, I'm gonna do everything I can to get my granddaughter and raise her as my own. And you know, you're 52, and right now my daughter's 14. I'm 52, and I can't imagine being your age and going to the Great Wolf Lodge or whatever in Grapevine in summer and chasing an 8-year-old and her friend around. And you're a badass, dude. And hats off to you. That's nothing but love. And you know, you're inspirational,
you know,
dude.
she's gotta have those memories, you know, childhood memories. And we don't want her just to not have, you know, we want to try to be as normal parents as we can. Does that make sense? And
Oh yeah.
give her the things that she would have missed out on that we don't want her to miss out on, you know. So we try to do that for her, and it's good for us too, because it keeps us young too. Right. You know, if you think about it, because and that's another reason I started losing weight, because I knew I was going to have to keep up with her.
Yeah.
You know, right. She's already soccer, and we're doing karate.
Yeah.
And I thought about doing karate with her, but I don't think I could do it. You know, my knees and my hip, you know, and I'm too tore up. But you know, it's the thing, and there was no option for us to, you know, will we put her in foster care? You know, there was no option really. So we did. My oldest daughter, it's just a tragedy. What happened with her, and she started using drugs at a very young age. You know, I feel my drug use and my genes created that in her, you know, and I feel so guilty with what happened to her. And she went down this path, a way darker path than I did. And, but you know, you feel some guilt there, because I tried to help her, tried to tell her what I did and what for her not to do. And I don't know if that pushed her into it, but she started very young. She had mental issues very young. And she had borderline personality disorder and bipolar. And then her drug use kind of grew out of that, because she couldn't higher low always. And I guess the drugs helped level her. Drugs, meth at about 16. And it took her, you know, she would be 42 this year. But anyway, Madison is a blessing, and we love her, and we would never look back and regret, you know, for that. So yeah, well, we love her.
Tell you what, you know, I mean, I'm choked up a little bit, you know, a little teary-eyed, because you know, I have a daughter, and man, that just, you know, I can only put myself in your shoes and imagine how I would feel. And you're so inspiring, Russ, because you have so many stories along the way as a man where you could have been a bitch and just given up, right? And you would have had every excuse. Like, you could tell people and they'd be like, yeah, man, that's a kick in the balls. Who can recover from that? And you just keep getting up, man. And you knock the dust off, and you just keep plowing forward. And damn, I love you, man. And it's just great to know you. You're so inspiring. And I'm so glad we're friends. I love you, man. I love you.
Love you too, brother.
So, God.
Sorry, I got you choked up.
No, it's just, you know, you're a pure, genuine guy.
I've cried so many tears over her that, you know, you try to help your kids and do what you can for them, but nothing we did for her ever worked. And that's a crusher, you know.
Oh God!
But you can't dwell on it. You gotta move past it. We got a little girl to raise, you know. But, anyway,
you got your Addison. So
yeah, we got baby Addison to take care of.
So we'll end it on this note, and this is something I've done for my daughter ever since we were little, and it's kind of a thing now. So like, she would come home from school, and I would say, "All right, tell me something." So we talk about her school day, and I'd say, What was your favorite thing about school today? What was your least favorite thing about school today? And tell me something you learned today that you didn't know before today. So I want to ask you that about, was it Great Wolf Lodge?
Great Wolf Lodge, and we did Six Flags too.
Okay,
so there was 20 minutes.
On your trip, Russ, if you can do this, I want you to tell me your favorite thing about the trip, your least favorite thing about the trip, and tell me something you learned on your vacation being in your 60s and chasing 2 8-year-old girls around, Addison and her friend around, that you didn't know before.
Well, the favorite thing is just watching these two little girls interact, and the little giggly and the excitement in them, you know, being able to go to this place. And have you ever been there?
I haven't. I want to now.
You need to go. Such a cool place. And Six Flags, I haven't been to Six Flags since my son was little, and he's 29 now. And I rode the runaway mine train with them, and I haven't rode that since I was probably 6 years old. So
wow.
I get, you know, I told you about my, you know, my axe handle across the forehead, and ever since then I get motion sick real easy. So, but I rode it with them because we were able to get on and off the rides. But yeah, my favorite thing was just watching the excitement in those girls, just giggling and just having so much fun, and the hyper, you know, running around, just couldn't settle down. It was just fun to see them and just the joy in them. It was awesome. The least favorite thing was the heat.
Yeah, I bet.
The heat was awful. It was 104 degrees heat index. The humidity was awful. Addison is very fair skinned. She's blonde and fair skinned. And so she was really, really struggling with the heat when we were at Six Flags. And I had this cool towel that I'd brought. You know what a cool towel is? You put water on it and put it on your head or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I kept ice in it and kept it on her neck most of the time, just to try and keep her, you know, cool, because I knew she was really struggling with the heat. And so the heat was just, it was awful. And the one thing I learned, well, I learned how to, they have this game there. It's just called Magic Quest.
Okay.
And when you go there, it's a whole experience. It's wizards, and they have these magic wands, and the girls each got to pick out a magic wand, kind of like on a Harry Potter type. They got this fancy wand, and it has a crystal in the back, and it glows and lights up, and they give them these maps. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt.
Okay.
And you go down, and so that was fun to get into that. But and they were so excited, and we bought them capes. So they were like little you know, princesses with these little capes and their little magic wands, and they'd go up to these little things and do their little, you know, and these things would light up and tell a story.
Oh, that's cool.
They needed to go next. And there's eight floors in this hotel. And what you do is you go to each floor is has a different theme for the scavenger hunt. So you'd go to the piney woods or the enchanted forest, and you're going from floor 1, and you're climbing stairs and going to level 3, and then you're going up to level 8. So I was running up and down the stairs with these girls, trying to keep up with them, you know, and I was doing the book, you know, so that I learned how to do that. You know, that was what I learned, I guess.
No, that's good.
They have a shop there, and I got to be very intimate friends with these guys in this shop, the wizard shop. You have to, you know, because I had to have help, man. Because you have to run in a certain order, and if you don't get it done in a certain order, you don't get the prize at the end. And there are like 10 or 12 different adventures.
Wow.
That you do, and it was boy. So we would go all day doing Six Flags or going to the water park and doing all that, and then in the evening we'd get cleaned up, go to dinner, come back and do this Magic Quest thing until bedtime. It shut off at 11. So that was fun. And so I guess I learned how to do Magic Quest.
Did you learn, Russ, that you are a powerful wizard?
I am a wizard. I am a powerful wizard.
You can ask questions. Wizard, Russ. Russ, Rowdy Dawg, wizard, who has no peers.
The wizard dog.
The wizard dog. All right. Well, hey, brother, this has been a blessing, man. I appreciate you being on the show, the podcast. We'll catch up. Yes, I've got your links, but I mean, yeah, go ahead and email me what you want me to put up there.
Sure.
And then I'll embed some links and stuff in there, different spots. I took some notes, but yeah, Russ has got some good stuff. Follow his channel. I'll put some links down below, and then let's kind of maybe second or third weekend in July. Let me come up there and we'll do the self-defense part 2 video. That'd be fun.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We'll do it. My dad will be excited.
I'll let him kick my ass. I know what hurts me. I'm gonna, hey, do this and you'll kick my ass. He'll be like, all right, boom.
We'll get that on camera for sure.
We will. All right, brother. Have a great
Sounds
evening.
good, man.
Take
all right,
care.
brother. I'll see you.
All right.
Take care. Bye.